What's up guys, I'm Andy from 1A Auto. In this video, I'm gonna show you how to replace the high pressure power steering lines on this 2001 BMW 325 Xi. If you need parts for your vehicle, click the link in the description, head over to 1AAuto.com. What we wanna do is suck some of the fluid out of the power steering reservoir. I'm gonna use this fluid transfer pump, take the cap off. We actually sell these pumps at 1AAuto.com. Suck as much fluid out as we can get. With this pump, I can actually get a good amount of the fluid out. Normally, if you have different hoses, they can't get as much fluid out, so this works actually really well. You're gonna need to remove this shield right here if your vehicle has one. You're gonna have different retainers up here, either screws or some type of push pins. And then you'll have screws right here. These are rotted away, so this vehicle, we just pull the panel off. But it looks like Phillips head screws for both of those. Pull that off. All right, so the reason why we're replacing this power steering pressure line is because it's really rotted away and it's probably gonna burst. So rather than have that happen while you're on the road and get stuck, we're gonna replace it. A good thing to do before you even start is just take the new hose and hold it up to the old hose, make sure it looks right. And this does look right, so we're gonna continue moving on. First thing I'm gonna do is soak this down with a little bit of rust penetrant so that we can salvage that. All right, I'll just spread this down a little bit, let it soak. Just take a 10mm socket and ratchet. Just take this nut off. So on the back side of this, there's a screw that is a hex screw. I'm not gonna be able to get a key in there. What I could do is take this bracket off from up top, but I don't wanna do that. I'm just gonna use some locking pliers and just lock them on and take it off that way. Take that off. I'm just gonna leave that bolt in there, or screw. Just get a screwdriver, pry this bracket off. I have to reuse this bracket to try to get this off the lines. Just gonna grab it with some pliers, take it off. Now on the power steering pump, there is the fitting right there that goes to this high pressure line. It's not really that easy to get to. If you have an automatic transmission, the transmission cooler is in the way and this sway bar is in the way a little bit. So you may have to move one of those out of the way to gain access to this. We're gonna try it without taking that. I'm gonna use a 17mm wrench, loosen this up. Make sure you have a drain bucket underneath because you're gonna wanna catch the fluid. There we go. So I got it loosened a little bit without taking either of those off. Right, so I got this loosened up. And just pull that out. Let that drain in the bucket. Now there's a banjo bolt right on the steering rack that is the other connection to this power steering pressure line. I'm gonna use a 19mm socket. I'm gonna start by getting the socket on. It's a little bit tight in here. Just fish your hands in through here. If you wanted to take the sway bar out, it's just two 13mm nuts on this side and then two 13mm nuts on this side. I'm not taking that down because they're pretty rusted on this car, so I don't want to break those. So we're going to do that without. And then I'm just going to use a extension and a ratchet. Go right through here. Keep in mind kind of the direction of how the hose goes, because you want to put the new one on the same direction as that. Get that a little loose. I could probably do it by hand. Oh, more fluid's coming out. All right, I'll pull the socket off. See if I can twist it out by hand. And yeah, it's pretty loose. So I can get it with my fingers. A lot of times once you crack these free, because there's power steering fluid behind it, the rest of the bolt is not going to be rusted, so be able to do it by hand. All right, I got that loose. I'll just slide this out and slide it down, just like that. Now there is going to be a washer on here, and I don't see it there, so I got to feel up around the power steering rack and make sure I get that washer off. And there it is. So I'm going to put the new seals on the new hose. Generally they come with the hose. And then there's these two washers or seals. Just take the banjo bolt, just make sure it's clean. This came off the old one. Put one washer on the top side of it. It's going to go there, and the other one's going to go on the bottom. And it's going to be a little bit tricky to get it in there, but try to keep it all together. This. It's a good idea to just wipe the hole off before with a rag. Just make sure you don't have any dirt. All right, so I got that started, which is good. Both seals are on there. Based on the size of the bolt, the torque is gonna differ. So what we're gonna do is we're just gonna snug this bolt up, and if it's actually leaking, we will just snug it up a little bit more. Generally, it's in the area of 30 foot-pounds. All right, that's good. Now, before I hook this onto this bracket, I am gonna get this threaded over here. Just slide that in position and get it started. And I'm gonna take an 18mm wrench and tighten this up. The original one was a 17mm, but this one has a different fitting on it. Make sure the line is lined up correctly how you want it. Make sure it's not rubbing on anything. And then we'll just snug it up right here. It's gonna be very hard to get a torque wrench in there, so we'll just snug it with the wrench the best we can. Now we'll take this bracket, line this up, get the nut started. Going to use the locking pliers on that bolt, then a 10mm socket and an electric ratchet. Oops. Push this in a little bit. We'll just snug that up, just like that. So if you had a shield, you're going to want to reinstall that shield. You're going to have some retainers that go here, push pins or screws. Some screws right there. This vehicle doesn't have the correct screws and they need to be replaced. So, all right, now we're gonna add some fluid. Take the cap off, set it aside, take a funnel. Make sure you check your owner's manual for the appropriate type of fluid. Sometimes it actually says on the cap what type of fluid. You want to check underneath the vehicle, make sure you don't have any leaks. So everything's dry, that's good. So we're just going to check the fluid level. Now a lot of the fluid came out when we were changing the line, so the fluid's a little on the high side, which is okay. What we're going to do is we're going to start the vehicle up and turn the wheel back and forth, stop to stop. It is going to aerate the fluid a little bit, so you're going to have to let it sit. Recheck the level, top it off again. Now I am going to have the wheels up off the ground. That's just going to make it so there's no pressure on the steering rack when I'm doing this. All right, so I'm just going stop to stop. Just gonna do it about 8 times. I'll just take the cap off. It's down a little bit. It actually didn't get too aerated, which is good. Use a little more. Just use the funnel so I don't spill it. And it looks perfect. A little bit on the high side, but that's okay. I'm gonna put it down on the ground, do the same thing on the ground, and then road test it and recheck my level and adjust accordingly.
Thanks for watching. Visit 1AAuto.com for quality auto parts shipped to your door, the place for DIY auto repair. And if you enjoyed this video, please click the subscribe button.